If you watch enough finance videos, you probably feel like you're doing something wrong if you aren't opening a new credit card every other week. Every creator has a list of the cards you need right now to maximize your rewards. So you follow the advice. You get a card from Chase for dining, one from Amex for groceries, a Capital One card for travel, and a Citi card for gas. You are trying to squeeze the highest multiplier out of every individual dollar you spend. On a spreadsheet, this looks like a win. You are technically generating a higher amount of raw points per dollar. But in reality, those points are isolated. You end up with 5 different balances trapped in separate banking systems that do not transfer. When it's time to book that business class flight to Japan, you realize you don't have enough points to cover the ticket. Effective credit card optimization often requires sacrificing a few points here and there. By committing to one or two ecosystems, you build a unified balance that is actually large enough to use. Instead of treating your wallet like a collection of brand names, you can organize it into a functional blueprint. There are 5 slots that cover almost every spending scenario: the workhorse, the cleanup, the power, the specialist, and the wild card. There is no universal best set of cards, because we all have different spending habits and different limits on how much we're willing to pay in annual fees. Building a durable setup means checking the rules of a card and making sure they map directly onto the life you already live. Categorizing your cards based on these 5 functions provides the structure needed to prevent overlapping spend categories and identifies exactly where your annual fees are going. Let's look at the foundational piece of your setup, the workhorse card. This is the card engineered to capture your heaviest, most frequent monthly expenses. This covers the things you buy every week without fail: high-volume dining, trips to the grocery store, and filling up your gas tank. To get these high earning rates, you typically pay a mid-tier annual fee, and you'll need to use specific statement credits to offset that cost. If your natural spending doesn't align with these exact categories, you are essentially prepaying the bank an annual fee for points you will never earn back. But the workhorse doesn't cover everything. That brings us to slot 2, the cleanup card. Its entire job is to catch all of your miscellaneous uncategorized spending. If you want travel points, you often have to accept a trade-off here. You might choose a mathematically lower base rate, like 1.5x, to keep your points within a specific bank's ecosystem, rather than taking 2% cashback elsewhere. That choice allows you to funnel random daily spend into one usable pool, giving you the critical mass needed to access high-value transfer partners. Keeping your workhorse and cleanup cards in the same ecosystem allows you to capture the vast majority of your daily spend without splitting your rewards between different banks. Once your daily spending is covered, you can look at slot 3, the power card. This is a luxury tool focused on travel lifestyle upgrades rather than earning points at the grocery store. The cost of entry is steep. You have to front an annual fee ranging from $400 to almost $700 and manage various monthly lifestyle credits to justify that price tag. If you use those credits, the perks are significant: airport lounge access, uncapped free hotel nights, and premium travel insurance. But outside of booking flights or hotels, these cards generally offer poor return rates for your standard daily spending. You have to be honest here. If you find yourself ordering Uber Eats or using specific apps solely to trigger a statement credit, you're spending extra money to recover a fee you already paid to the bank. Unless you naturally travel 3 or more times a year and can use those perks without changing your normal habits, a power card is likely to be a financial loss. Slot 4 is the specialist card. This is a tactical tool deployed to plug the specific earning leaks that your workhorse card misses. These cards offer high returns, but they require attention. You often have to manage strict monthly spending limits or memorize lists of very specific eligible merchants. Earning 5% back on your gym membership or utility bills is helpful, but it adds mental overhead. If you swipe it in the wrong category, your return drops significantly. Finally, we have slot 5, the wild card. This is the most flexible position, reserved for large welcome bonuses or rotating quarterly categories. If you are willing to play the game, signing up for a new card to capture a 90,000-point welcome offer can take a standard 2% annual return and launch it toward a 30% return on that specific spend. This requires strict organization. You have to navigate bank application rules, hit spending deadlines, and track new credit lines to avoid fees. The specialist and wildcard slots are optional power-ups. They reward people with meticulous organizational skills, but they can be a burden if you prefer a simpler approach. Knowing the 5 slots is only half the battle. Now you have to decide which version of this blueprint fits your actual reality. Generally, there are 2 archetypes: the simplicity seeker and the travel optimizer. We map these based on your tolerance for tracking rules compared to expected return. The simplicity seeker sits bottom left, wanting low mental effort and moderate, predictable returns. The travel optimizer sits top right, accepting high mental overhead for outsized, luxury travel redemptions. This matrix shows a simple reality. Moving up the ROI axis requires a proportional increase in the administrative effort you put into the system. If you are a simplicity seeker, your ideal setup is likely just 2 or 3 cards. You need a low-fee workhorse for your main spending and a no-fee cleanup card for everything else. You won't have airport lounge access or first-class upgrades, but you guarantee yourself reliable returns and 0 time spent researching which card to swipe. If you are a travel optimizer, you need the full 5-card ecosystem. Anchor your wallet with a power card, use a workhorse and cleanup combo, and cycle the wildcard slot for bonuses. Unlocking international business class for pennies is possible, but it demands loyalty to one bank's transfer partners and a commitment to tracking your rewards. Most frustrations happen when you try to sit in the middle. Wanting luxury travel perks without committing to the administrative effort usually leads to those fragmented point balances we saw at the start. The best credit card setup isn't determined by the highest multipliers, but by the cards that adapt to your natural lifestyle, rather than forcing you to adapt to theirs.